Everybody, it's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, coming to you live from Virginia Beach, Virginia, here at the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon. And it's time for our live talk forum on Wednesday night, 7:15. So we're going to get started with our show tonight. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We have a live studio audience here, so you can come here anytime. For those of you who are new and don't know what we do, we talk to God, we talk to universe, we talk to love, we teach all about that, how to live your greatest life, looking into the future, seeing things that are best wisdom, guidance, gifts, tools for you and everybody, balancing earth world with the metaphysical and teaching all about the laws of the universe within these spaces. This is what we do. It's ask and you shall receive. It's highest end Christ consciousness. Thanks everybody for coming. I see you guys all coming up here. Thank you so much for coming. As usual, 2023 is a wild year for us all. So we're a little bit groggy today, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. It's quite humorous, but in many ways. So it's going to be some good laughs today happening. We have your questions from last week. We have questions for, I'm sure this week you guys are going to come up with questions. So our show is about helping and assisting all people, whoever you are, whatever space of God you're in, from love, how to live in these times, gifts, tools, wisdom, from the highest form of love, how to handle everything, do everything, guided by higher knowing. This is what we do here on the show. This is what we do in our lives. We actually teach and do what we say, right? And that we set the example here in Earth World, as we all do. So thank you all for coming. I see you all coming on here. I'm going to say hi to everybody in a few minutes. I just want to share with you that our show is also on donation. Many of you already know that. Donation meaning however you can donate. If you can donate monetarily, through whatever avenues you feel. It could be through donations in food. It could be through donations in monies. It can be through donations by, shopping or supporting us, coming to our shopping center, working with us, however you do love. Everything is energy. It can be by sharing what we do on the internet, by sharing and telling people about us. So remember, energy is in multiple infinite forms, as is all that is God, okay? Because that's what it is. And so when people think donation, just a general rule in Earth World, they think money. It does not always have to be money. You can donate via links, which my associate Rachel and Jennifer will put up, Venmo and PayPal. That would be great, however you need to do it. But we're going to talk about today is a lot of cool stuff that has come in through our life experiences, because nothing in this world teaches us all like what happens in real life, right? And it's been a fucking riot. So just giving you guys the heads up for today. And let's see what we got today. Hi, Sophia. Sophia's here today in our studio audience. It's super freezing here in Virginia Beach. It's been wet and raining, and most of us would say, well, oh my gosh, complain, about the rain and the weather, and it's groggy, and it's this, and it's yucky. When really, this rain here is part of the grand design of God helping us in different ways, right? So when you think, and to give you an example, right, like we're moving out of our home right now, all right, we're moving locations, so things are really, really crazy, and so we have to plan out stuff, and when this happens, right, by the rain and the weather being rough or difficult, less people are coming out and looking at what you're doing, so it's about keeping you incognito in these times. So it's about basically forcing people out in Earth World reality in these dark times to mind their own business, right, via universe or God. So think about the next time that you're outside and you think, oh, I wish it wasn't raining today, and I wish it wasn't so fucking cold, right? There's going to be, I wish it wasn't so rough out here in the weather, and it sucks and it ruins my day. Really? What if universe did this on purpose to help you out? What if? Right? Ask and you shall receive. When you ask to be incognito, when you ask to be not seen, when you ask to be free of other people, so for them, everybody to mind your own business, so you're free of any kind of unwell for you. When you have people and toxic energies in this darkness out here that is really interfering with everybody, that with everything that they do, massive control, massive darkness, right? And I ask God to be free of all this, and then it starts raining and pouring and getting stormy and windy, and it's super fucking cold, and we're trying to move our shit and everything, and I'm like, wow. And then it dawns on me why this is happening. Because now there's not so many people walking down the street. My neighbors aren't in my business. It's quiet. It's dark. The weather is here to help and assist me. It's not in the way that we think, more often than not, always. So I want to share that with you because that's some pretty cool wisdom. When we think that, oh shit, this weather sucks and da-da-da-da-da, you remember, everything is related to everything that is energy, and your free will. Asking God for things creates other things to happen via what you ask God for from love. And this is a great example of that. Okay. So we're going to talk about this and my move today because I'm really fucking exhausted, right? We were up all night, Jennifer, Rachel, and me. We pulled like an all-nighter to move out of our house, the house that we were in, and it's been fucking crazy. You know, we pulled an all-nighter, something that I haven't done since way back when I was in a toxic drug-using space, back in my 20s, or early 20s, I think. You know, thank God I'm not that person anymore. Super grateful for this path that I've taken, and this is part of the reason I do this, right? To bring great things to all of us, you know, via love. So back to my story. We're moving out of our house. It's been quite a rough ride. We were there really late. I feel like we still have some stuff to do on this before it's completely done. But when it is done, it will be the end of this whole sickness and unwellness and this whole last 3 to 4 years since COVID began of us being sick and shit hitting the fan and really difficult, hard times for us across the board. It will be the end of it. And we all kept saying, we all kept being like, oh, it's going to be done tonight. It's going to be done tonight. It's going to be over tonight. We're going to be finally out of this nightmare, and we're going to release this house energy and all this darkness and all this toxic and all of this, right? We're like saying that over and over and over. And every day it would take another day. Again, law of the universe. The more you want something to happen, right? When you want to be out of your house, you want to be free of all this, the more you hold on to it, the more it takes longer and longer and longer. And you're like, fuck, right? So, and it's so crazy because this whole last 4 years, when it all started, has been massively challenging, as many of you know. And honestly, most of you don't know the half of it because I can only say so much here in these times. But in the future times, more and more will come out as the universe allows me to release this via boundaries and what's wise to say, when to say, how to say, what not to say, and all of that guided by higher knowing of love. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that just means that I'm not going to say everything because I'm being guided by higher knowing, and I'm giving you basically the best amount of information that I can give you about what's going on in the world via our experiences. But there are some things that I can't get into too in depth for protection of myself and my family and all of us from love, right? So this said, what happens is this has been a nightmare, including the ending of it, getting out of this move, all these issues, all these challenges. And then it dawns on me with God, because universe is always speak me, because I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, God? Why is this so challenging? And then I realize my whole 4 years that I've lived in this house pretty much, has been super fucking challenging. So why wouldn't the ending of it be that way too, right? Yeah, makes complete sense. And then I get an idea what's really going on, right? With all of this crazy stuff with God. Incredible, amazing God. Incredible stuff. Incredible wisdom. Not ways that we traditionally think, right, in Earth world. And we're going to elaborate on some of that in our experiences today. What happened, because we're still going through it. We have a few more days. I feel like tonight is really the last day, but every time I seem to say that, but they're shaking their heads. The angels are shaking their heads going, no, this is it. This is it. But I'm going to talk about these wild things going on in reference to all this, and then some good funny stuff. Like the other day, I want to show you guys my new purse. This is it. Okay, it's a box. It's a box. See, in here is my book right now, my esoteric healing book. Some notes, right? Some gift cards that I happen to have. My keys, right? All my shit is in here. This is what happens when you move. You get a new purse, okay? A box purse, right? Anyway, so I want to share that with you because it really is fucking funny, So I walked into class the other day and I put my box down. I said, hey guys, you like my new purse? Because we're like, living in all these different crazy spaces and putting, metaphysically and physically, with the crazy stuff going on, trying to figure out where we're going to store our stuff and trying to find a place and move and all this crazy wild stuff. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of my new purse, the box purse. And this is the kind of stuff that's been happening, and I'll have much more to elaborate on here in the show in reference to this move and the shit that has gone down, guided by higher knowing God, universal love. I also tonight not just want to talk about with you about this personal experiences that my whole family here has had in Earth World, right? For the wisdom in that, not just to talk about myself, right? It's to tell you the truth of God and wisdom and how these things work literally in our physical earth world. By sharing my stories, it helps you relate to them in the best way from love, because nothing teaches us all like earth world. And then you have experiences and you can relate to my experiences, and it helps us all understand how things work metaphysically, everything from the weather to the box purse, to, the challenges that we've had with the house and why all of this has gone on, and with all these people, right? Everything physical is metaphysical. There is no greater teacher than Earth World, and this is just more evidence of this. The more we get it, the more we can work with this energy, the more we create our greatest lives, the more we comprehend it in a magical way, and we can utilize this energy in all of our magic. And this is why we do the show, so that we can share these gifts with you, okay? Because it's not just very far from just the way way we think in Earth World. This is a whole consciousness Earth World. It's like 2 to 3% of really all the magic of all that is God, of the things that can happen, and incredible, amazing things, and the understanding of it as well in societal Earth World vibration, okay? So, this said, we're going to talk about the house stuff a little bit more, most likely, and depending on what universe guides me to, but that's my plan for tonight. Sometimes we go in different directions, guided by higher knowing, right? And the other thing that we're going to talk about is the house thing, and then we're going to talk about how things are working out with God and universe, and the plans, the new pathways, the new doorways that are opening up for all of us, both on personal levels as well as in the collective. You see, the deal is you can't stop God. So the darkness can't stop God. That's why they want to stop any kind of Christ energies, any kind of religion or spiritual stuff that has to do with Christ, and anything that has to do with love, which is all religion, all spirituality, all that is God. It's love. So anything that is, including religious fanaticism, all kinds of crazy stuff, that is all wrapped up in religious stuff, they want to stop, meaning the darkness wants to stop, because all the power is with love. Okay, so, all right, where there is God, there is always a way. Nature finds a way. So there's no fucking way they're going to stop God. So I got some insight as of recent. As you know what we do, we're always talking to God, we're always talking to love, we're always talking to angels, universe, all that is love all the time. And we're always getting information, because it's just what I do and teach here. Ask and you shall receive. So we're always getting, all this wicked cool information on what's going on. So recently, working with God, universe, had a whole bunch of information come in, because I'm like, what am I going to do for the show this week, God? What information do I need? What am I going to share this week? So it's important that you all know, so that, and it also gives us a bright light of hope, and a different aspect of understanding, because there's so much out there of the darkness, and over you see it. Even on my show, I'm talking about, the Kardashian darkness, the Hollywood darkness, the sports star darkness, the darkness in medicine, the darkness in government, and it's overwhelming, and it's daunting, and it makes us be afraid and scared, and really, this is to teach us the truth, to see the truth, to know what's truly going on. But tonight we're going to take another perspective on this, and how God or love or universe, and we've talked about these in bits and pieces as well in our show, how God, love, and universe is always knowing what is knows you better than you know yourself, and knows everything that is God, as it all is God, or it all is love. Do you see? So in these new times, now tonight I wanted to focus on what's coming in terms of love, because this is the light of hope for all of us, and it's gonna fucking happen. So it's gonna be really, really incredible. It's gonna be really, really wild, amazing times. And the universe is guiding me to share with you this wisdom, so that you get an idea. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. In Saturn's Earth world, Saturn's the governor of Earth world karma, Capricorn, Saturn, right? Nothing happens overnight. It happens progressively. And this is what they're doing behind the scenes. The darkness is manipulating. Well, guess what? Who would have the ultimate handle on that? God. because God is king, or God is ruler, or leading governor of all that is. It is love in its purest form. So if that's how you want to look at it, that's where the true rule of all that is. It's all wrapped up in love. And this is why when you are in alignment with love, you are always, 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 always super blessed. I don't care whether you call it God, angels, or however you worship religiously, or whatever your deities, your guides, who you connect with. It could be Christ, it could be Kali Ma, it could be Buddha, it could be anybody, anything that is spiritual, as long as you realize and do this from the purest place of love in you as much as possible. Then you're and be in your heart, in the space that you're in, then you don't have to be or identify with the things exactly as I say here. It is all energy. Do you see? And we're all the same people from love in our hearts. Okay. So this is what connects us all. It is love. It is not religion and races and ethnicities and countries and governments. Those things are all parts of the eyes and the egos and the toxic glamour and darkness that divides us, that the darkness uses to divide us. But when we come from love, all those things can be super good and super amazing, just like science, technology, medicine, everything. Everything that is God is love can be super amazing when the intent is pure of heart. And that's what brings us all together from love, the intent being pure of heart. Okay, so we're going to talk about those things today as well. And I just want to ask Rachel, who's here tonight, so we can say hi to everybody. And if you can donate, please do, guys. Helps us keep going and do all the great things we do. As you know, we help people on all different levels. And it gets old talking about all this stuff all the time. So if you don't know what we do, we've said it on a million different shows. So if you want to learn more about it that I haven't said here tonight, please check us out, because there's infinite wisdom in all of our shows all the time. All right. And it's always, thank God for this, going to be something new, exciting, neat, fascinating. That is all that is God, of wisdom, guided by highest knowing, because as you know, God is infinite. And that's the nature of what we're going to talk about tonight. God is infinite. Universe is infinite. Nature finds a way. And I love that Jeff Goldblum line. And it comes from the Jurassic Park. I think it's the original Jurassic Park, where he talks about how male, female dinosaurs can, I think, change their sex and make eggs on that crazy Jurassic Park island. And he's like, nature finds a way. I think that's what he's saying, basically. But it truly gives you insight to exactly what we're talking about here. All right. You can't control God. That's it. So when the darkness thinks that it can, not a fucking chance in hell, because God is infinite. And there's all these infinite things going on here. It's all energy of love, and it can't be controlled, although they're trying to, and they're working with that energy, and they're manipulating through your own fear. Through your own fear. If everybody woke up tomorrow and wasn't afraid, this would be over. It would be over.
Wow.
Yeah. Two things create in this world. Two. Fear and love, right? Fear and love. That's it. Right. All right. So who's here tonight, Rachel?
We have Sarah Andrews.
Hi, Sarah Andrews. Thanks for coming.
Dee and Kathy.
Dee, Kathy. Hey, is Kathy your mom?
No, Kathy Womack.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if Dee's mom was here. I was going to say, hey. Anyways, hey to Dee's mom, too. And hi, Kathy Womack. Go ahead.
We have Teresa. We have Steve Gilt.
Teresa.
Sarah Sutra.
Steve.
Nikki Opper.
Nikki.
Have Pearl. And Andrew Karate.
All right. Andrew Karate. And who else? Sarah Sutra. All right. Hi, everybody. If I missed your name, I apologize. Thanks for coming. And the other thing that's going on is, as you know, we get different amounts of viewers. Sometimes we have hundreds. Sometimes we have thousands. All right. Universe or the darkness is definitely suppressing everybody's stuff, because the truth is pouring out. And it's only a matter of time as this ball keeps rolling before, everybody becomes awake, not woke, awake. Sees the gods on his truth of wisdom. So it's coming and it's pouring out. So this darkness is trying to change all that. So they're suppressing everything you see on the YouTubes. And again, you don't watch everything religiously unless you feel called to in the space of God that you're in. You ask universe questions, and universe will show you things on YouTube. They'll show you things in your reality. Everything you need to know is everywhere in your earth world, whether it comes through you internally, through your heart, and be a metaphysically in some way, shape, or form, through dreams, through visions, through voices, through smells, through hearing, through listening, through inner knowing, gut feeling, intention, intuition comes in through all ways that is love metaphysically, as well as in your earth world reality via internet, television. The God's honest truth is always there behind the scenes and straight right up. Okay. And you will always see it here in earth world. So thank you all for coming on. Thanks for watching our show, giving you some heads up with that as well. And Jennifer, do we have any questions from last week?
We do.
Okay. What we got going on? We'll do. Rachel's got the questions.
We've Andrew Karate. He just came on.
All right. Hey, Andrew.
He was asking if the documents that are being uncovered in regards to Biden, is the universe telling us about the darkness going on?
Absolutely. Everything is all messages from the universe. And always, you ever hear the saying, Andrew? The truth always comes out. Always. My dad used to say to me when I was growing up all the time, when you would hear drama and you would hear rumors about people, and my dad would say, stop. There are two sides to every story. There are multiple sides to every story, Andrew. So you are now going to be seeing the truth of God coming out. Everybody is in everything, whether it's the Biden stuff, but remember, the darkness is also orchestrating so much of this, truly. And the people who are participants are all in alignment with that in some way, shape, or form. So this is how this rolls. There are soul agreements, there's karma, there's lots of different layers of all these different things going on in reference to this. Now, I haven't read up on all the garbage of it, because one of the reasons they do that is to get you all wrapped up in it. We already know that Biden's super unwell, right? He was put in there basically as a proxy for the American government, for the people to believe that this guy is our president so they can run roughshod over us behind the scenes. Okay, so they're like, oh, this is our president, and they want the people to support the president. But really what Biden has done is totally instilled all these laws and rules and really illegally, but they've done it anyways across the board. Everything from illegal aliens to shutting down the pipeline to all the stuff. If you go back and you look through everything, it's absolute destruction in alignment with totalitarianism and Marxism to destroy our country behind the scenes and to destroy the dollar. So the banking system, the New World Order, the banking elites, all those high-end darkness, Bill Gates, all of that, the Clintons, Obama, all that you hear all wrapped up in this, make no mistake about it. The truth is going to come out about all of this and always will. So this is all part of that. But if you become all wrapped up in the drama, like Watergate, so to speak, or whatever is going on, like the Johnny Depp and Amber, what is it? Hunt, is it? Amber Hurt trials, right? Everybody's wrapped up in that. They're not paying attention to the shit that's going here, but that's done deliberately. It's universe, or the darkness, using, universal darkness, let's say, using glamour and Hollywood to grab your attention and make you look over here. Meanwhile, there's all this other shit, just like they're going to do the same thing with guns and all this other crap. And I'm glad you asked this question, because this is all part of the grand design to keep everybody all involved while they're doing other shit over here. But it is also about the darkness that is that, and in that's wrapped up, that is going to tell you the truth. So there's multiple messages always through everything that is God, by everything that is happening. Okay, Andrew? And for all of us. So this is the God's honest truth. And there is more information on this that comes in. Hold on one second here while I put it into words. Thanks God for the God's honest truth of the words and the connections to all of this, and where we're going to go with this now. Please, and thank you God for that for us. Okay. So this darkness that's behind the scenes isn't going to stop. This is going to keep on happening, but the people are waking up to it across the board. And this is all part of the grand design that is God. And then they're also going to use this to infiltrate another person, possibly, like they say, is Kamala Harris going to be the president and Biden's on the way out? So when people start saying that and this is going on, it's absolutely in the energy of what is coming, what can manifest. So it's happening. It's just not literally in our physical reality. reality yet. So this stuff is coming. The question is, when exactly, how it's going to manifest, who it's going to be, what other stuff is intertwined with that. Same thing with the guns and things like that. They're already putting laws in to stop people with guns. And this is the main thing that's going to happen into the future. All of us are going on and living our lives, balancing these multiple different dimensions. All right. And in these different dimensions, there's all these different belief systems. And so, right now people are riding that energy out. They're riding that energy out, trying to cope, trying to balance. But at some point, there's going to be shifts. There already is shifts in the consciousness all the time. Some are going to be bigger than other, like red flag events, like Vladimir Putin and the NATO or the United States war with all the darkness. There's all this darkness behind the scenes. Everyone's like, oh, it's Vladimir Putin starting the war. Not really. Not really. Okay, there's so much more here going on behind the scenes. You want to know the God's honest truth, and it's infinite. Ask God for that. Ask God for the God's honest truth. But that's like a cataclysmic, or a world event that's a black flag that's telling you that's created to make major shifts, right? And this is all part of that grand design heading you into universal currency or the digital dollar, or the digital coin. So, and that's all part. And then the first say, well, we're going to give you, let's say we'll give you $20,000 if you convert to our system, and your government loves you and will help you. And then before you know it, a year goes by, and then by the following year, each time with that money that they gave you, that new digital currency, right? Because the people go, oh, it's free money, and it may just be $100, but it may be more than that. It depends on their currency, or their, what do you call it? There's a word for it. What the people value and can get away with, what the government or the darkness can get away with to conform you into their spaces of the new digital currency. All of this stuff is interrelated and interplay in all of this. All right. So they're manipulating you. And at some point in the next 2 to 3 years after we go to the digital currency, they're going to start saying, you can't do this. You can't do this. Major more surveillance. You can't now have that. And if you want your money this month, then you have to do this, and your government will take care of you. And you have to eat crickets and all this garbage. Don't think for a second that there isn't truth in all of this. It's about when, where, how, and it's all in the possibilities of the energy. Think of it as like the tree of life energetically, where there's all these fucking branches of pathways of possibilities that this energy that is all in the collective of all that is God can go both on a personal level and in the whole world of what is happening, all these directions, because this is where it stands energetically. So it is definitely all these things that you see out there coming up are in the possibilities of the energies of the manifestation of what the darkness is thinking about or working on or trying to incorporate or using to take advantage of everybody in the light and control people. Okay. So this all goes with Andrew's question that has to do with Joe Biden and the presidency. It's only a matter of time before Joe Biden isn't there anymore. Basically, Joe Biden, if you looked at it in Earthworld ways and you looked at Earthworld medicine, Joe Biden is very sick, and we've talked about this before. It's Alzheimer's, and it's absolutely disgusting that anybody, any human being in this world could allow this to happen, right? If it was my father, if it was my family, I would be horrified by what they're doing using him. But that's how darkness works. It doesn't give a shit about compassion. It doesn't give a shit about you. Same thing like with the stuff I'm going on with my house, right? We moved all this stuff out to the curb, and the people next door, we were up all night, so I'm sure we kept them up. We didn't try to keep them up. It's not like we're drinking and partying and yelling and screaming, but their house is kind of right on top of us in this one corner area on the whole one side, right? But this woman has had massive problems with us and just can't even help herself. So she, what we know is we can't, we do the best we can do, and we try to keep everything over here, but it's the same kind of thing with the darkness. She's extremely dark. I've gone head to head with her several times only because she brought shit to my table, because that's how love works. You're not going to have a problem with me until you have a problem with me. And when you have a problem with me, or you have a problem with God or universe or love, or you're out of alignment, then it's going to bring you your shit like hell in a handbasket, because that's how it it works. That's how it works. So to give you this example, this woman I picked up, my sister picked up, we were there late at night. We're not trying to make a lot of noise. We're trying to get our shit out and trying to move out and out of what literally is a fucking nightmare. And I picked up energetically, intuitively, that she's not happy about this. We kept her out all night. And then the next morning, today, we had a note on the door from the city of a whole bunch of violations. And we had all this trash on the curb because that's what you normally do. But what's so fucking funny is the house is now in the landlord's possession. So while she thinks she's doing this to me, that bitch cunt whore, she's thinking, fuck Lynn, even though she doesn't even really know my name because she's not really my friend. And I don't really give a shit. You can live next to each other copacetically with world different beliefs. That's fine. But you must be decent and code of ethics from your heart with people. That's what the old world was. That's what the new world is. That's what we're all striving to. Love, coming from love with each other. But this person is super dark and not in that space. And we know this by her actions. Same kind of thing that goes all along with this. So while she's going she thinks she's going for my throat, today that house is no longer in my possession. So really, she happens to have the same fucking landlord. So they're going to have to deal with her phone calls to the city and complaints, not me. Because it's not my house anymore. And that's how God works. The day after I'm out, this is what happens. Because she's trying to be shitty to me. And that's what the darkness does. It has no compassion for you. Absolutely none. And people go, well, I feel so much for them. And I get that story and I feel for them. Right? And this is about energy. This is about talking to God. This is about working with love. Because we cannot have that compassion for this darkness anymore. You can't allow your heart to give to something that will kill you 100 times over infinitely and it's got fucking nothing for you. And then people say, well, how do you know? How do you know? You talk to God. You ask God. You don't got to do anything. You ask God that you're in alignment from love and God will take care of it for you. For you. All right. And a great story with this is like Moses and the Pharaoh. And if you remember, the Pharaoh went for Moses and told him he could go and then changed his fucking mind and went for him. And the sea opened up, right? In the story in the Bible. And Moses is fine. And all he's got is his stick and his fucking relationship with God. All the magic of God. The Pharaoh doesn't get it. Pharaoh can't see it, right? This is a great story in the Bible to show you how you all have the power of God and God takes care of everything. When you're in alignment with love, God is love, right? When you're in alignment with love, all right, you have incredible power and incredible gifts, and universe takes care of you. That's also why it's raining. So that lady and these people keep out of my business because they're all over my shit. They can't even help it. Because why? They're calling in enlightenment for their souls because they're super sick for lifetimes. When you get to be near me, right? Just like myself. That's the story. When I go through great pain and suffering, my soul, my subconscious soul is calling it in. Why? To help me be free of it. Everything is in the grand design from love to help you see things differently. Be in a different space of love. You see? So Andrew, all of this is intertwined with this Joe Biden shit and how things truly work with darkness. And this isn't just for Andrew. This is really wisdom for all of us. So we have a better understanding of how the darkness works. All right. And what you do to alleviate, be free of. All right. You don't always have to send energy back. All right. Like a lot of people say to me, well, you always send a nasty energy back and then they think they know what they're doing and they do that. You know, I always talk to God about everything that I do. So if I'm being a nasty little cunt bitch whore to somebody, or you might think that I am, and you say, well, you did this, Lynn, and you sent that energy out to them, and you're horrific, and you're supposed to be a person of love, and how can you call yourself a Christ energy, right? This is about higher knowing of God. This is about working with God 24/7. So when those people say to me that I shouldn't be doing this, right, I'm always talking to God. My question for them is, are they? Are they? Yeah. It's a question for all of us. And there's always more learning and always more talking to God and always more wisdom for me and for everybody. But if we're all in our hearts, we're all doing our best to work with God, then we change everything. And that is all the power. And now in this space of God that I'm in, 98.999% of the time, I don't even have to call anything in at all for the darkness that attacks me. Not even. Because it's already done. Universe is like, boom. and I see those dark angels go for whoever it's going. And sometimes I'll get visions about what's coming for them. And I'm like, holy shit. Because I wouldn't want horrific suffering for anybody, because that's what this love space does. It wants great things for everybody from love, for itself and all. Okay. So when somebody is attacking me, universe takes care of it. And the more you work with God, the more you work with love, I don't care whatever level you are, the more you grow, the more you change, the more incredible gifts you have, and the more you're in alignment, and magic keeps on wonderfully happening for you. Magic, wisdom, learning, everything you need, and changes everything and creates everything that is best for you, because that's how it works. Okay. And you'll see this in your everyday reality. Like all the people who work with me as much as possible, just like you guys on the show, the more you work with me, the higher you vibrate, the more amazing things will happen in your life. Not just watching the show because the show is fun and you learn so much and it's fascinating and all the good stuff that the show brings and it's fun and it's funny, not just because of all of that. It's because in your soul is calling wisdom. It's calling enlightenment. It's calling happiness. It's calling joy. It's freeing you from the crap that we've carried around for lifetimes. That's part of the universal law of all that is God, that is love, both in Saturn's Earth world, as well as metaphysically in all that is God. Okay, so your soul calls all this crazy, incredible stuff in for you to make you your greatest you, because this is how these things work. Okay. All right. So all of this is all intertwined without going into 100 million more directions. The Biden stuff is just all part of the grand design of the darkness to try to control the people, and to show you the truth. So multiple levels of stuff, Andrew, multiple levels. And let me see, is there anything else for Andrew with this? If you have more questions, Andrew, please ask and we'll get you the answer. And let's see. Is there anything else I need to come back and elaborate on with this, God? If there is, please let me know, and let's do it from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all this. And thank you, God, for that for us. So, but going back to the house thing, in the end, that nasty neighbor of mine is actually going for the throat of the darkness itself, because both the property manager and the landlord, they're all in cahoots. They're that same kind of darkness. What you are is what you attract. What is this based on? By all of their actions. This is how I know. I see their shit in Earthworld over and over, and I talk to God about it over and over and over. And this is what comes in. And you could say, well, that's bullshit, Lynn. Like people could say to me, that's bullshit, Lynn, and you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. I see it over and over and over in physical earth world. Just like when I see partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, and they constantly treat you like shit. How many times you got to get it when your partner treats you like shit in earth world? Right? That you're not seeing the truth of it. Well, their actions show you everything. Everybody's actions, what people do, tells you the world about them, what they look like, who they are, what they drive. The other day, I said to my sister, we were by the church around the corner from our house, and there was a pastor outside, and he looked so much like my brother. I thought, holy shit, that looks just like my brother. And that day, my brother visited. So that's the universe showing me my brother is coming. Wild shit, right? And then just last week, I realized that this guy, he said, oh, I live right next door to the church over here. And I was like, that's a riot. I seen his truck out there, and then his truck is black, and it's a similar kind of truck to the same truck that my brother drives. Everything is energy and messages from God that tells you everything that is going on with people. Everything, the way they look, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they speak, the way they treat each other, and the things that they do. Groups, individual, everywhere. Tells you the nature of all that is God and what is truly the God's honest truth of what is going on in the individual. Fascinating, fascinating shit. I could talk about this for eternity, right? And if I have more time, and who knows, into the future, we're trying to figure out how to incorporate more shows and be able to balance everything. And right now, we're sitting tight with that, but we're hoping to be able to do that in the future because, this is so much of what we came here to do, in all ways, whether it's through social media. And this is why the more you support us, get our stuff out there, the more we're going to be able to get to thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and hopefully all the millions of people out there to and however ways from love in the best way, to change everything. But this also helps us in turn get this out and be able to give more time to the shows, to the things that we want to do, right? And energetically, this is where we're standing, and everything always in God's time when it is best from love and in alignment with love. Always. Not in Lynn's time, God's time. Not in, Andrew's time, not in Dee's time, not in Rachel's time, not in Jen's time. In the best time for all from love, God's time, which is God's time. Okay, that said, I hope I answered your question, Andrew. It's more part of the shit that's coming to help people see the truth. It's all part of the grand design of all that is God. Okay, Rachel, this is from last week?
Yes.
Okay, who's next?
We have Mickey from tonight.
Okay.
She said last week she brought a potted plant to work, and since then weird things have been happening. While at work, she felt someone touch her shoulder, but nobody was there. A few days later, she heard someone tap on her window at work, but again, no one was there. Today, she noticed her plants moving around as if somebody was swishing by them, but nobody was there. She's asking if the fourth floor is active, who or what is it, and why is it contacting her now?
Okay. I think everybody heard Rachel. Oh, look at Rachel go. Speaking up, Rachel. Speaking up. Throat chakra. All right. All right, God. What's the God's honest truth for Nikki? What's going on here? Instantly, Nikki, it comes in as ghosts of the office. Okay, it comes in as souls, wandering souls in the office. Wow. Governmental jobs, right? People who were here prior, who know the secrets of the governmental stuff going on behind the scenes. Interesting enough. This is about that. So there's going to be information coming for you. Write this stuff and log this down, girl. Interesting wisdom. All right. So you're going to get information from people who have already crossed over, already left this space of your company, that you work in. These darknesses are there. They're connecting to you because you're doing your spiritual work like what you call, a banshee, like a wild woman, right? Yeah. You're really doing your spiritual work. So many of us are in these times. And so the more you do it, like we talk about, the higher you vibrate, the more magic you have, and your magic is just pouring out. And this is all part of it. We just talked today, I think it was, and we've talked previously, me and you, about, all this magical stuff that, is coming in for you. And this is all part of it. As you do this work, you clear your soul. You get a clearest connection to God. This is how we all get all the answers. The clearer the connection, the more you can see the God's honest truth, the more wisdom and access you have to everything that is all that is God, that is the galactical center of everything that is God, that is love. And we all have this. I'm not any different than you are, than anyone else. The question is, are you in that space? Have you done the time? Are you going to do it? At any time, any given time, ask and you shall receive, and you can have everything, but it doesn't come for free. You must do the work. We're in Earth world, people. Saturn's Earth world. Saturn doesn't play, right? So you've got to do the work. Okay. And we've been in these spaces. We've been God magic at high end levels of God for lifetimes. All of us. If you're on this show and you watch consistently and you get it, you are getting it. Okay. You can't not on some level. You're on the path because, we don't have hundreds and hundreds of people, especially in this time, at this time, lined up outside the door here to work with us to get this shit, because this is high end God. If it was in alignment with everything that was mainstream consciousness out here, like the restaurant McDonald's, right? From back in the day, fast food, everybody understands fast food. Hundreds of people go and have fast food. Not like that at all. That's an earth world consciousness thing. It's very unique to each soul. And in time, this is the goal, to bring people to God in however way, space it is. And that's the grand design of all that is God in earth world. But this is the very reason that there's not, that you don't see hundreds of people, but they're watching on the show, and everybody gets, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people freak out about it. And because they're scared, because we've been persecuted and prosecuted, and we be hung as witches and all kinds of crazy shit, because we've been it all. We've done it all. And like I always say, the reason we're here is to fight this darkness, because that darkness can't bring any fucking hell that we haven't already been through. Truth be told. It's like I always say, in my life, with my people, I'm like, come on. I'm like, you want to bring it? Bring it. Bring it, because I'm not fucking playing. I have suffered for eternities. And even in this lifetime now, if I sat here and told you every fucking trial and tribulation that I had, you'd probably fucking fall off your chair, because it is some rough ass shit. But these are the souls that we are, right? Because we're here to change the world, and we can't fold easily. if we're going to do this work. And this is who you are, Nikki. This is who you are. You are doing the work. And this is who all these people are who come here. At whatever level of God you are at. You are my people. I am your people. You're high in God. You've been suffering for so many lifetimes that you're fucking done suffering. And fuck this darkness. Yeah. In yourselves, in me, and in all. Fuck that darkness. Right? So, the more you learn this stuff, Nikki, the more you keep going, the more you're going to clear your soul, the more you're going to open up all the avenues of all the magic and work with God. The more you work on stuff, pray. In other words, ask and you shall receive. Thanks, love, for this for me. Thanks, love, for that for me. Clear this that is toxic in me. You know what I mean? Clear this that I don't like about me, or that's mean, or that's nasty, that's unwell, that's sick, and that does this to myself. Because more often than not, it is about the core that is in your inner soul that is self-loathing. That's the toughest shit. And if you're this kind of soul like me, and you guys, highest end consciousness have gone through so much pain and so much suffering, that's what we're here to release. And we take that energy and we put it into different things energetically so we can deal, so we can cope, so we can be okay. Okay, like some people are drug addicts, some people are mentally ill in multiple different ways, all kinds of addiction issues, whether it's drugs, whether it's sex, whether it's money, whether it's, whatever it is, okay? Addictions, mental health, mental illnesses, physical illness, unwellness and sickness out here in all different ways, financially, abundantly, and in all ways. All right, so all of this energy of self-loathing and toxic to the self, to the heart space of you, is what creates and is this really dark shit, and the shit that we're working on freeing ourselves from in these times. Okay? So everybody knows that. And as we free ourselves from this darkness, because it is time. We've come here to change the planet. We've come here to heal us. And it is time. And this is what Nikki is doing. This is what all of you are doing in some way, or some way, shape, or form, whether you do it with other people, whether you do it yourself, whether you work with God one-on-one, and in all ways with God. You're always working with God subconsciously, consciously. It's all part of the grand design of all that is love. You're going to be in some way, shape, or form at whatever level you are, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, including earth world people out here. They are not subject to all the transits in astrology and all that is God, that is love, all the energy of it. Okay? All right. So, Nikki, that's what's going on. I feel like you have these ghosts here. These ghosts are, as you keep evolving and healing you, more gifts will open up. Start asking God about it. Start asking them. Start talking to them. They like you. There's nothing not to like about Nikki. You're like outgoing, you're gregarious, you're fun, you're beautiful, you're just so many amazing things. It's all part of the main reason why I love you so much. You're so many beautiful things. And you're a pleasure energetically to be around. So these souls, these ghosts love you, and you are a huge light. So you draw them to you. But it's funny because I feel you're going to get some incredible, amazing wisdom in the departments of, let's say, government that you may or may not work in, depending on where your soul leads you to at whatever given time. There's going to be huge, incredible wisdom, a truth of God behind the scenes that's not going to come from like where you do sneaky research, you know what I mean? Like a Julia Roberts movie where she's doing the research to find out what's secretly going on. No, it's going to come in intuitively, right? Through these people. They're going to be talking to you. So get your notebook out, write it down when you go home or when you're on the train and you're traveling, because more and more of this is going to be happening. So ask and you shall receive. Talk to God, talk to angels, ask that you can hear, ask that you know, ask to work with this energy, because this is why this is happening and what's coming in for you. And it's also about you expanding your gifts. I feel like you asked to be a master medium. You've asked for these things, whether you did it consciously or not. You have. Your soul has. And your subconscious soul always runs the soul, really, and always is your heart space, and it runs the show. It runs the show. Okay. So there's your answer for you, Nick. What time is it, Ray?
8:03.
Okay. All right. Good. We still got about 45 minutes, guys. And is this all from last week's questions?
No, Nikki was from tonight.
Okay. Oh, cool, Nick. All right. All right. Do we have more from tonight?
We do. We have one more.
Okay.
Right now, we have one more.
All right.
We have Susie Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
She said, my handyman sister-in-law passed away. She loved horses, but never got here. When she died, she came here astral. We were talking about the horses. She wasn't sick, loved on them, told me goodbye. She said that she woke up to Bill calling to tell me that she had birthed into spirit, and I said, I know. I feel so blessed that she came here to meet them on her horses on her way back to God. I guess it's not so much a question, but more so like a comment.
Yeah. Thanks, Susie Lynn, because it's great that you share your stories. If everybody could hear on our show, if you can read, what Susie Lynn is sharing here, I think I see it, where she's talking about her. I think it's her sister-in-law. Yes. Crossing over?
Handyman sister-in-law.
Handyman sister-in-law. Okay, so this is talking about medium gifts, all right? Her medium gifts, and she's sharing her wisdom and her experiences right here, just like I do, just like we all do, right? We all have these experiences, and just like Nicole did with the ghosts in her office. So this is wonderful. So that Susie Lynn is sharing this, because it's all unique to the self, but it's all the incredible magic of God. And the more we share these stories, and the more understanding we have, and the more we can see the God's honest truth about what's really going on multidimensionally and in all that is God, that is love, and live our greatest life. So thank you, Susie Lynn. That's a really cool story. It's really cool. Thanks for sharing it with us and everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And you too, Nicole. Thanks for sharing your ghost stories. Fun shit. Super fun shit. It's fascinating. It's just fascinating. Okay. So is that it for questions?
I have a question.
Oh, Rachel's got a question today. Live, Rachel. Okay, good.
I keep seeing all these articles about, apparently there's a comet crossing in our sky that's in certain parts where it's dark, you can see it with like the naked eye, but you have to mostly use like a telescope. And it's apparently it's like really close to the Earth, and it's the first time, or the last time it was here was 50,000 years ago in Neanderthal times. And so I was wondering if there's anything metaphysical going on with the comet and what it's bringing.
You just answered your own question. The biggest core energy of this comet, right? So Rachel's talking about a comet that has come in and hasn't been here in 50,000 years.
That's what the scientists say, yeah.
And she says that's since, what did you say, Neanderthal times?
Mm-hmm. That's what they said,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So what energy would it be bringing back? Neanderthal energy. That's right. Is that the fucking funniest shit? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. It does other things and bring us other kind of magic, because when you said that, it came in through astrology as like the star Algol. You can see it. It flashes. It's out. The star known as Algol is actually has a couple different components. I think it's like 3 different components, and it lights up in the sky, and it's all part of astrology, and it's called the dark star. Well, this comet is not unlike that. This comet is not unlike that. 1 minute it shows up in the sky, and then it disappears, and then it shows up. And this is what the darkness is doing, right? It's like it's there, it's not. It's behind the scenes, it's in front of your face. It's like kind of like, and it mirrors all that is God, right? But they're showing me that this is an energy that is very much like the star Algol, known as the Death Star or the Dark Star. You know what I mean? Yeah. Algol is known as that. It brings with it, incredible, wild things like death, addiction, mental illness, that kind of thing. And when it's activated with other placements in your chart, it's not that you should fear it, all right? You have the power of God to change and do anything and everything, but this star is connected with this comet because these times are pretty dark and pretty rough, so that energy is all going to be called in. So when it says it hasn't been here since Neanderthal times, think about how people are treating each other.
Yeah.
Wild. Like fucking Neanderthals, like not even giving a shit, like no compassion, no humanitarian. What is it? I think it's laws for humanity. People aren't giving a shit about that. No. Think about it. Yeah. So the answer more often than not will be right there in the words, right there in what's happening. It tells you the truth. So thanks for sharing that, because that's incredible for all of us to know. Another gift from universe to see what's truly going on here with all the wisdom. Yeah. So that's cool. That's super cool. So you guys see that? The Neanderthal energy. And it's not that Neanderthal as a people or a time era is bad. It's bringing you back to toxic unwellnesses that are of that time, that are right here in Earth world, that are activated through this darkness, where people don't give a shit about each other. There's no compassion. There's no caring. There's rape. There's pedophilia. There's, massive control, massive darkness, sexual issues, all kinds of crap that's really massively fucking dark, that is in this darkness, that is all that is in the collective here in Earth world. And so this comet is part of that energy. so everybody knows. And it's really cool how universe hooks up everything, to show you the God's honest truth about what's really going on. And everything that happens in the stars, astrology, everything that happens in all that is God shows you the God's honest truth. That's why I call it God astrology, because we work with God first, and we work with the astrology within those spaces. Ask and you shall receive. I want to know what's going on here. Boom, 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 boom. I ask God, what's the God's honest truth? And the most powerful, pertinent information will always come in the now for everything that you need to know about it, the biggest boulders. And you want to know more, you ask God for more. You want to elaborate on that, you ask God that God does, or that universe does, or that love does. Do you see? And they elaborate on this. Okay, so we all have these magical gifts, and this is and through astrology, through the transit in astrology is the catalyst for the energy. It brings you everything that is God that comes in, and to show you, and it is the energy of this which correlates with what is going on. Just like Pluto, the planet Pluto with transformation, just like Saturn with universal law, just like Uranus with fuck storms of explosions. You put all of these factors like together in wild times in different areas, different houses, different signs in your chart, and both in the cosmic of all that is earth world, that is the transits of God, universe, love. And here we are today in the now with the fuck storms and the darkness that we have going on. So really incredible, amazing shit how this stuff works. So thanks, Rachel. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any other questions? Whether they're from the internet or yours, or
we have another person asking a question.
Fantastic, great. Don't forget, guys, this is to answer your questions about anything and everything. It can be personal, it can be everything God, everything universe, whatever it is. And remember, you have all these gifts as well. Anything I can do, you can do. It's already in you. You're already designed for this. You're already part of it. Yeah, cool as shit. So, okay, what is it?
Donnie Ball is asking if she can have a birthday reading. It's her birthday month, she said. So she's wondering if she could have like a general birthday reading, and she also felt called to tell you that she has an Aquarius sun as well, who's about to be 12.
Okay. That's funny. When you said Aquarius sun, I'm going Aquarius sun in your chart, right? But you meant your Aquarius sun, meaning, your sun is an Aquarius in his sun sign, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Donnie is looking for a birthday reading. What is her birthday? Did she tell you?
She didn't. She just said it's her birthday month.
Okay. The first thing that comes in for you, Donnie, is to do a solar return chart in astrology for this year, for your birthday year, which starts on this birthday and goes to 2024. So if your birthday is, let's say, February 1st or February 5th, from that time on, it's a solar return chart. We've talked about this before. Everybody can do this work. It behooves you. It will show you the challenges in the astrology for this year, and will give you a fantastic chart reading for you. So if you can, look up, Google free solar return chart for the year 2023, because this is the year you're in, and this will take you into 2023. Like they say, the sun sign is your birth sign. Okay, so happy. What do they say? Sun, is it your natal return? What do they call that? With the sun goes around. There's
solar return?
What?
The solar?
Solar return. That's right. That's the sun. So every year we have a solar return. But your solar return chart is going to give you more details along with all the rest of your astrology for that year of what's coming in for you. We can pull that up when we have more time, or if you want to pull it up and send it to Rachel, or we can send it and we can give you a reading from that, but you can also do this yourself. Google free astrology solar return chart, and it will come up. I think it's on, what do we usually use? AstroSeek, and then it goes to, and then somehow it says AstroDense, but you can put all your stuff in there. It's really easy. It's simple. You can do it, and you can take a screenshot of it, and you can send it to us. And I'll give you an even more in-depth reading, because when you say, I want a birthday reading, do you want a birthday reading for what? What's coming in the future for that day? Wisdom about you personally, or people who were born on that day that's relevant and like you. Do you see what I'm saying? So, or do you want a reading for the whole year through your solar return chart? So there's multiple things here when you ask that we can do with this energy. So does she clarify that in any way? And if you could?
She hasn't really, but she did say her birthday is February 6th, but she likes to celebrate all month.
She likes to what?
Celebrate all month.
Okay, that's cute. All month. That's cool. Celebrate you all month. That's awesome. Awesome, Donnie. Everybody should do that because just like we talked about self-loathe, we don't celebrate ourselves. We're so busy giving and doing for everybody else. So good for you. Yay. May we all do that from love. Celebrate ourselves for the whole month of our birthday and always from love. Always. Okay. So let me see. God's honest truth. What is best wisdom, guidance, gifts, tools for Donnie's birthday reading? What is her full name?
Her
For this
Facebook
year?
name is Donnie Leatherman Ball.
Whew. That's an interesting name. There's some heavy shit wrapped up in that. All right, think about it. Donnie Leatherman Ball. Okay, so there's a lot of wild things going on in that energy. Okay, everything from get the ball rolling to the bell of the ball to having balls. Okay. And to Leatherman, like leather, beautiful leather outfits, beautiful leather clothing, the underlying sexual energy, leather man. So there's a lot of energy, both dark and light, the duality here in your soul of things to work on. Some of it's some dark sexual stuff, right? But I'm not saying this in particular to you. This is all of us usually at this level of God. We've got issues that we got to work out, change. All right. So when I say this doesn't mean this is no judgment on you, because remember, everything is energy and there's multiple layers of energy, positive and unhealthy, negative, positive, right? And it's all part of the grand design. So when this stuff comes up in your name, it's pretty strong and pretty powerful, right? Okay, so there's a lot of really cool gifts and tools, all right, that you can do with this. Just like Leatherman, Weatherman, can you weather this out? In the middle of your life are going to be some of your greatest challenges. Leatherman, leather is tough. Leather is the skin. Is your skin thick enough to handle this shit? Heavy stuff, right? And it's in the middle of your life, right? Go ahead.
She commented on the name. She said that she was named after her great-grandmother, and the military always thought that she was a man when she would show up. To get the leather man. Yeah.
Yeah. But you see all these things that are intertwined in the energy of your name, some incredible stuff and some dark stuff as well. And that's for all of us, in our energy and all that we are, because we could say, well, the dark stuff is bad and I'm judging you and all this shit. But really, that's not the truth. The truth is it's the reason it's coming up is it's part of the grand design to free yourself from it. So, and to like emancipate you. How wild is that? For all of us. So this energy comes up into our reality in our earth world names. The beginning of your name, Donnie, just like Donnie would be, you're a man, right? So then you could say, well, where do I have man issues? Where am I not comfortable in my power? Or am I, let's say, am I a female that thinks I need to be a man? Or do I have sexuality issues, right? Or am I a healthy space of me and I like the name Donnie as a woman, and this is why I called this in, to be in a man power space as a woman. So there's multiple levels of energy going on here, and I'm sure you can relate to all of this because everything is in your name. Everything is in all that you are. Okay, so your first name is the beginning of your life, gives us an idea of who you are when you came in. So these energies you bring with you, and are you comfortable being the name Donnie and being associated with being a man? I think Nicole Opper had some of this stuff in a different way in her energy that she talked about in a show 2 or 3 times ago at least, or maybe even 4 times ago, talking about, where people read your energy as being a man and hating being called a man, or not identifying that or identifying with that. Some people will really identify with that, but the first part of your name is who you came in with as you are. All right. And then the middle of and so that's the beginning of your life as well. And your middle name is the middle of your life. All right. So there's Leatherman, Weatherman. Can you weather these challenges? Can this man weather this? Whether you're a man or a woman, can this person weather this? So tough times beginning in the middle of your life for this journey, but this is all about your spiritual journey, right? Can you get on the ball? Can you keep rolling? Can you keep going? Right. And if you think about a ball can be the sun. It can be a beautiful light sphere, a circle of beautiful, amazing energy in the end. Do you see? So it's all this energy is whatever you want to make out of you. Whatever you employ is the energy of you. And where you go with this is the multiple layers, like when we talked about earlier, that tree of all the avenues of things that can manifest in your reality in this life. And usually at some point, that darkness comes out, we manifest into something different, depending on what your soul decides to change consciously and subconsciously, and there's a million and one facets and avenues of the stuff that you can work on, address, do, heal, change, and that can manifest in your reality on the tree that is all the life, like the life tree of all the energy that is God or universe. It just comes right out in all the branches. What path can you take? What path are you taking? Do you see? So there's multiple different layers of you that you can manifest in this reality, depending on who you are in your heart, both consciously and subconsciously. And the guy who works with God consciously is the guy who has the most massive amounts of power. And when you work with your soul consciously, that's Walter Russell. That's what he said. When people said to him, why is it that you can do such incredible things? Walter Russell was an artist, an architect, a writer. I believe he was a nuclear engineer, right? And this is during like Nikola Tesla times, and people think Nikola Tesla and they think about all those brilliant guys back in that time, but not a lot of people know about Walter Russell. And what Walter Russell said, and we've talked about him on the show before, what Walter Russell said, and when they said, why can you do all these things and I cannot? I can only do one thing, or I can only do this, and I cannot do all the things that you do, and you're so amazing at them. And you know what Walter Russell said? Because I work consciously with God. How wicked cool is that? That's what I do. That's what Walter Russell did. See, it's in all of us. It's in all of us. So what you do with this energy, Donnie, is up to you. And for your birthday reading, I feel like there's going to be great transformation. It's going to be a fantastic year for you. That's why I told you about going to the solar return year. It does not mean that there won't be challenges. Just like everything I'm going through, just like everything we're all going through. Challenges unique to ourselves. That's all the parts of the magic that makes us all magical God spaces that are special and different and came in here to be people in this life, right? So we can experience these things, these challenges, and learn more to be the best selves we can be from love, as well as enjoy things in a different way. In a positive, healthy way, heal this as well as be the superheroes of the planet. So there's some really fantastic doorways and things coming in for you this year. Incredible stuff. Your solar return chart will tell me more about this as well. And I could spend probably hours talking to God and asking all these different ways where these things will come in. Right? You being an Aquarian are brilliant by nature. I don't know if you're doing any writing at this time. There's some subject matter that you have incredible interest in and incredible wisdom in that you can share with the world. Like we have Dr. Steve, who's one of our people. He's our energy chiropractor here at the shopping center. And he has like incredible, massive amounts of wisdom that he's accumulated, not just in this lifetime, but from lifetimes, and knowledge, intellectual knowledge, Uranus, Aquarius, that he could share with the world and write. And it's the same kind of thing. And one of his biggest fortes is energy and health and spirituality. And so he's on this path as well, but he also is massive Aquarian. He's got like triple, quadruple planets, I think, in Aquarius, like in the 6th house, which is the fucking house of health in his chart, right? In his fucking birth chart. It makes me want to fall on the floor. I'm like, holy shit. Because the guy is so super gifted and has such incredible wisdom to share with the world. But with that, Dr. Steve has incredible challenges. As do I, as do you. I had to get you, Steve. I did. Yeah. So this is how it works, to give you an example, especially with Aquarians, right? Brilliant. You're the most intellectually brilliant people. And it doesn't mean, across the board, but as a general rule here, Aquarian is known as the most Aquarius and air signs are known as the most intellectually brilliant signs. All right. And Aquarius is known as the most incredible book smart, academia stuff. So, but that is not that, only thing that limits that and limits us is ourselves. It also incorporates other astrological aspects and placements within this. So I'm telling you this, Donnie, because you have incredible wisdom and insight to share in your Aquarian, brilliant Uranus space that is you, as does your sun. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Yeah. Ancestry. Right? What you are is what you attract. Same kind of energy. When you have a kid, it is part of you. It is that same energy. And it just manifests into its own special being. And they came in here with you to pick and choose those gifts that they needed to bring out, and a whole bunch of multiple different levels of stuff that is designed for your child. That's why they chose you. That's why you chose them, to work out karmic agreements, all different levels of everything that is God for different reasons. But he is born into your family, and your agreement is that you're the mother, and this is the karma, and this is the energy, and this is the ancestry stuff. And so fascinating stuff. So he's going to be very much like you. Very much like you. And he's beautiful. He's really beautiful. But
she said her son is her karmic gift.
yeah. Yeah. Some of our greatest challenges. I can tell you, Dr. Steve and me, we've had some incredible Aquarian battles. Boom, 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 right? And some rough times, but we also have some incredibly special times, which is really lovely, in our lives. And that's what is the gift of God. Beautiful, incredible gifts from every relationship we have on all different levels. And it teaches us about relationships, because your air signs are your master communication signs. Your master communication signs across the board. You'll see people whose charts are void of air. They suck at communication. Hard trouble for them communicating. Your master communicating signs are first Libra, then Gemini, then Aquarius. The issue with Aquarius is it gets all wrapped up in itself. Good, but sometimes some challenging things when it comes to communicating with other people, depending on how it manifests. Again, there are multiple things in a chart, in everybody, in all that is God, that makes up each and every one of us. There are multiple aspects, multiple things across the board. So it's not just one thing. Just like we talked about the Death Star, Algol, right? People go, oh, you have Algol on your chart and it's doing this. Well, you have to have other things that at any given time in the transit has to hit the right space, and certain planets and aspects and things have to go on in your chart for Algol to really be part of the ass kicking that's coming for you, if it's coming from Algol. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, you have to have many aspects in you and in the astrology to create energetically, to create this to happen, whatever it is that happens in your life, good, bad, unwell, whatever it is. So everybody knows, everybody knows. I see Kathy Warmax wishing you a happy birthday, I think, which is cool. Comes up really big on my screen. So, let me see. Is there anything else that I can tell you? I do feel like you're going to be opening, opening this doorway to these gifts of this writing for you. So if you get dreams, things come in, write down, take notes, put your stuff together, but you're going to be doing multiple things. Do you do any bike riding bicycles? Because it comes in something about, it's something connected, the wheels turning, that's it. The wheels turning, getting on a bicycle and taking a bike ride. You must connect to bike riding some way, shape, or form. Like it's freeing. It could be a motorcycle, but it's something about the wheels turning, which makes the wheels turn in here and the wheels turn in here to move this forward. So go biking. Like I used to run all the time. And, it was super mind cleansing, information will come in, but it's super mind cleansing, super healing. But I feel like it's this variation of the same kind of energy where things are going to come into you by doing physical earth world things. What we do in earth world brings in other things that are metaphysical, and they go hand in hand for all of us. But this comes in for you hard. Go ahead.
She just said bike riding is how she stays mentally healthy.
What did I just say? That's fucking incredible. God is so incredible.
She's writing a book.
Good. See, so you're right in alignment with where you need to be. Keep going, and if you feel you need to write many books, so all of this stuff is coming to fruition for you. So this is going to be a power year, but it's not going to be without challenges. I think of your son as like mine and Dr. Steve's relationship, right? There's a lot of great things in it, and there's a lot of motherfucking challenges, right? But it's about love. It's about love from lifetimes. All right. And this is the same thing as if you have and actually it is very much like Dr. Steve's and my relationship too, because we've had lifetimes together. Like you're his mother and he is your son in that lifetime. And there's past life karma like that between me and Dr. Steve. Do you see what I'm saying? Just fascinating stuff. And all of this plays a role in everything that we are. But universe does not bring us challenges without great rewards, and never anything more than we can handle. That's why you have the power and the gift. And when you think that you can't handle it, and that old prayer, I think it's called Footprints in the Sand, where everybody, when you read it and the person says, why are there only one set of footprints? And Jesus says, because that's where I carried you. Why did you leave me, God? The person says, and Jesus says, well, that's where I carried you. You know what I mean? So universe is always with us, always rewarding us, and always carrying us. That's where you get ask and you shall receive, no matter what the challenge. And I can tell you, I've had some pretty wicked life experiences where I was on the edge of pretty wild stuff that were awful, horrific. And what did I do? I like everybody else, I cried out to God. I said, and I get to cried out to God. That's the way it's done from the past in a lesser vibration of God, especially that would bring some horrific, wicked situations to my reality. My own toxic, really. My own toxic. But you don't have to cry out, so to speak. It comes from asking and working with God, where all your solace, your wisdom, your peace, your inner knowing, how to get through anything and everything. And this is your greatest tool for these times, what we do in this show. Ask and you shall receive. Ask, love, for everything you need. There are times when I could bang my head against the wall, with situations and things. Clear this out of me, God, now. Change this now, please. Let me know this wisdom. Let me do this. Let me understand this. Show me what I need to do now. All in alignment from love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality and all that is. Thanks God for that for me. And boom, it is so. And let me see it, know it, do it, get it, be it. From love in the purest form. Thanks God for that for me. So easy. So easy. And it's in all our shows repetitively in different ways. It's on my YouTubes and the earliest YouTubes where I talk about little segments of doing it. And we may do that in the future. Right now, there's so many things on the table of the tree of the directions that we're going with. But at this time, I have to complete this total move that we're doing. We're moving in a new direction. We are literally moving into a new time frame, literally moving out of one house into the future into another, moving out of one God space into another. Whatever is happening physically in your world is happening metaphysically as well. Okay. Eddie, so I hope this answers and gives you a great read for all this good stuff for you. Let me just see. And any more questions in reference to this?
No, she just said thank you so much and spot on.
Yeah, God bless. And thank you. And thank you for sharing that you see this, you get it, like literally in Earth World or in all ways that you get it metaphysically, because that helps people realize that what we do here is real. It is real, but you know that it's real anyways, because you feel it in your heart, and all of you wouldn't keep coming to the show, and this wouldn't, what's happening in the world wouldn't be happening if you didn't, really realize what the God's honest truth was, right? Yeah, you feel it in your heart. You feel it in your heart. Okay. All right. So go ahead.
We do have a comment from Kathy in regards to last week when you talked about the sister and the house and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah, Kathy,
she
please.
said she tried to talk to her sister about the house, and all hell broke loose. She said that there's some copies they're going to send to each other, and she feels everything will be fine in time. Yeah. But I'm glad that you did that, Kathy. I'm super, super proud of you. Keep praying on it. Ask God to work it out from love, and it will be so. Right? So she sent you some copies, and this is why we talked about this, because people get all emotional and crazy when it comes to money and houses and abundance and gifts and attachments to, family heirlooms and things like that. It gets fucking crazy. That's why enlightenment is so amazing, because if I don't value what you have to offer or anything that you give me, you have no strings that you can yank on my chain with. That's collateral. Right? So in order for the darkness to be able to manipulate you, if you say no and you say, fuck you, I don't believe this, then it cannot happen. Do you see? All right, and this is the same thing here, okay? Except we're going about it in a different way. We're working with love in a totally different way to change what's going on here. So I'm proud of you for doing what it takes in Earth World to talk to about it, and she's sending you papers and you're sending papers, and then we go from here with the next steps. Because ultimately, people become all emotional and crazy, and your story right here of what happened with her it validates everything we talked about last time, so that you can take care of this, so this will be done, because then it won't start these emotional fuck storms and wars and craziness and greed and toxic greed and unwellness between you and your sister. And this can be worked out lovely and healed, both earth world and metaphysically. So good for you. Keep going, girl. Don't give up. Follow through. You have more questions with this, I'll gladly help you. You can bring it here, and you can also do it yourself by working with God and love. The best outcome for you from love. Thank you, God, for that for Kathy, and all of us always from love. Thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, so what else you got? Right now, that's all the questions that we got, and it is 8:32.
Okay, so we are at 8:32. If you guys got some more questions, we'll see if we can finish up with your questions for tonight in the next 15 minutes. We got about 15 minutes left. What I want to also talk to you about, we talked about the house. We talked about let's see what's going on in the world. Before I go back to the house, if I don't get to the rest of the house stuff I told you a little bit about, I want to talk about what's coming in the world. Okay, there's a great possibility, I'm sure you all know, as the shit hits the fan, it's boiling. As the shit hits the fan in the collective earth world, this is what we're going to talk about, what is coming. Not to scare you, there's going to be a possibility of great new factions of America and this government, because people are not going to want to be enslaved. And what you do, all right, what the people do is super important. We talked about this a little bit before. Okay, so this is right, super important. When COVID came here in Virginia Beach, the whole COVID epidemic, and they said you can't go out and you have to wear a mask. When the weather started to get nice, I think that started in like March, didn't it? Of 2020, was it?
COVID, I think it was 19.
Or 2019, or it was right around that time, though. I'm not exactly sure if it was 2019 or 2020. So if you guys know, post it, please, for factual. All right. But either way, when that happened here, and the weather became warm, all the people went to the beach. Virginia Beach is the beach. It's one of the beaches in all the world. So what do people do when you live at the beach? You go to the fucking beach. When the weather is nice and you've been in the wintertime for a long time, you go outside. You be at the beach. And hundreds of people went to the beach, and they kept telling the people to get off the beach, and the people would not do it. So what we're going to have is non-compliance, right? They're going to tell people what to do, and the people are not going to comply. And then, of course, there's going to be violence here and there, as always, right? And there's a propensity for great violence. When that happens, you will have to protect yourself, but the best way to do that is to call in God and love, and to handle all of this always by working with love. Not saying you go out with guns blazing. You listen and talk to God, universe, love all the time about anything and everything, no matter what the fuck storm is outside, on how to handle anything and everything, always from love. So if you're supposed to go out there and have a fuck storm with guns and shit blazing, you will, right? But if you talking to God and it's in alignment, you will, right? But more often than not, it won't even go to that point, because you'll have all the power of love, and universe will guide you with what to do, when to do, how to do, and everything not to do under those circumstances, and with whatever is happening in the now. And always, God will always guide you. This is why our show is your number one gift. I don't care what anybody fucking says out there. It's the best show for your greatest tools for this world. The best show. And it's not, because this is how things truly work. What we do here is it's better than anything you can do to prepare in Earth world. And I do advise you, as I've said before, to prepare all those ways: gold, silver, food, or weapons, community, all of these things, protection, and most importantly, above all things, working with God or love is your greatest gift. That's why this show is so important. All right. That said, bringing you back, all of these gifts are your mad skills, your mad tools for whatever comes, no matter what comes. And it may never get to that crazy space, because it's all about compliance, right? If people are going to comply. All right. And the problem is that darkness and glamour, right, is really overtaken Earth world in societal Earth world. It's really overtaken societal Earth world. Darkness, glamour, money, riches, fame, all of that shit. So what do? Darkness uses that to bribe you. But if you're somebody who's enlightened and who works with God and is on the path, whether at whatever level of enlightenment in your spiritual journey you are on, if you are a God heart space person in some way, shape, or form in your heart, and you listen to your heart and you work with God, then you will not be able to be manipulated, because they won't have that collateral on you anymore. This is why I say to you, send out our videos, get them out there, tell people about what we do, and teach them yourselves if you feel it in your heart. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to help everybody, and we all are. But the more we get what we do out there, the more we give people the tools, and the more we help each other simultaneously at the same time. That's the nature of how God works. Really cool shit. So when COVID happened, the people wouldn't get off the beach. They literally had to get the police out there to get the people off the beach, right? And get citations and crap, because this is what they did. So there will be uprisings and things like that happening. Absolutely, without a doubt. Hold on a minute. I'm having like a ringing in my left ear. They're telling me number 2 cell salt. So I'm going to quickly take this, and I'm going to ask God to be free of it now, please. Thank you, God, for that, for us. Holy shit, it's gone already. But just in case, number 2 it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. My number 2, cell salt. So you guys know about these things. I teach about them. Holistic medicine, alternative medicine. Okay. We talk about them on the show in previous episodes. If you want to learn more, you can work with us. Just holler and we'll teach you more. And in the future, there may be more shows like we had the Medical Intuitive show and the Right Thing show in the past, which we had to cut back on. But they make variations of those shows, may come back as well. We'll see. Whatever will be from love and God and universe, right? Okay, so I'm using number 2 cell salt to help me with this ringing that's going on in my ears. That's what God guided me to. God talks to me all the time. Thanks God for that for me. Thanks God for that for you, if you so desire it. From love, the God's honest truth. Always from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that isn't. Thank you, God, for that for us, right? Okay. That said, that's how we do it, people. That's how we do it. That's how I do it. That's how we do it, if you feel so called to do it in this way. All right. And so going back, so it's about conforming, but they're going to try to bribe you with things like money, things like beautiful things. You know, we're your government and we're going to take care of you. There is no government, and there has never been any government that is your friend. All right. Hasn't been. Go through history. There's always underlying agendas of darkness and crap. The new government, which has always been the government, is universal law or love. That's it. That's your highest knowing. That's your highest form of government. If you wanted to look at it in an earth world way, it is the law of everything that is. And you could say, well, earth world law, it is the law of everything. There's any, however you want to interpret law, right? It's the law of all that is based in love. Based in love. That's what we do and teach here. And that is really the governing factor of all law, all bullshit laws, all anything and all that is, right? It is the governing factor. It is the boss of it all, okay? So they're going to try to bribe people, whether it's with $100. They did this with the COVID inoculations too. I know plenty of people who went out there and said, oh, my work will give me $200 a bonus if I go and get the inoculation. Holy fucking shit. Are you like stupid? Fuck, I'll give you $200 if you don't. Jesus Christ in heaven. Seriously. Seriously. I mean, that's how crazy this is. You never sell your soul, your health, your loveliness, anything about you for money. Fuck. You gotta be fucking crazy. Yeah. But this is what they're trying to do. You know, in Earth World, everybody's glamorizes money and this and that. It's about what you value. If I value my God connection and everything I have, I know through my relationship with God that I can have $2 million instead of $200. Or I can have infinite amounts of money just by working with God. Everything that I need is provided for me. I don't need that fucking $200. I couldn't give a fuck about your $200 that you got for the inoculation. Couldn't give a fuck about it because I value my health. I value my gifts, especially now more than ever, since I've become sick with this mold toxin and all that has gone on with us through this past 2 or 3 years. It's no joke. But the whole world is going through this because there's so many stars out there right now that talk about poisoning. And there's 26 of them, I believe, or maybe even more than that make references to poisoning. And we all have them in our astrology charts. So the whole world on a collective level with everything that's going on is being poisoned. Those who choose to be sick in some way, shape, or form on a subconscious soul level or literally, consciously, by choosing the inoculation. Now, if you do that with the money thing and you did do it because you got some money for it, doesn't mean that you're bad. That's just stuff that you got to work on with you. What is your value of you? What is your value of your health? Because let me tell you, when you start to get really sick, really fucking sick, you're going to value being well like nobody else's business. You're going to value that. And if you don't have your health, people, you got fucking nothing. You got nothing, right? So working with God, working with universe helps you to keep your best health, your best of everything. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to bribe people to the new digital currency. And we'll give you this. But remember, there's going to be all these underlying shit that they're going to incorporate and do. So we're going to be removing ourselves from society. There's going to be different factions, different groups, different people, energetically who will not be part of this. So there's definitely going to be what you call layers and layers of different energies that are going to develop, just like there's a possible breakdown in the future. And this isn't for a while yet, of course, but it's all in the energy and the tree of the energy that is coming in the collective and earth world of the possibilities of how this shit is going to go down. So at some point, there will be people who are in their heart space that are us, that are like us, that will break away and start their own communities, because it's no joke. All right. I worry about this for my own children. You know, they have boys that they like and girls and boys and girls in relationships, right? Where where they want to find a partner, a life partner, as we all naturally did. But back in the day, when in the 80s, there was like that big AIDS scare, and not that AIDS was no joke, especially back then. People were very, very afraid of getting AIDS and dying because it was such a horrific disease. And this is like a variation of that. And the problem is, people can't have babies and they can't be well. And there's all different kinds of variations of this stuff going on out here. Right. And so I said to my daughter, you can't even take a sip of somebody else's drink. I said, so you need to pay real big attention whether you're taking a sip of somebody else's drink by accident. You don't share any of your shit with somebody who's inoculated, not unless you want to expose yourself to some other kind of bacterial or infection or anything else going on there. Super important. Super important. Just like massages and massage centers and things like that. You really have to watch out with the shot shedding, all of this stuff. And I know they get wild with me on social media when I talk about this, so I'm going to kind of veer away from that. But this is super important because just like you guys, I worry about my kids. How are they going to find a life partner? I'm not, I said to them, you ever need blood, anything that you need, it's no joke when they talk about pure bloods. You bet. I don't want to be sick. Do you? Yeah. And this is a serious ass earth world thing that is going to divide people, because I ain't dating nobody who's been shotted. Not if I can help it. And if I am, I'm going to talk to God always. And I'm not going to be prejudiced. I'm going to work with God or love, just like they turn the prejudice, the darkness on the people who were not inoculated. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Made them bad people, right? Whatever choice you make your choice from your soul, from love for you and what is best for you. And I'm not telling you something that is to be shitty to you. I'm telling you the truth about what is happening, what is coming, what I need to talk and am talking with God about, sharing this stuff with you so that don't drink from other people's cups. Make sure that you know what you're doing. It's like you can't even kiss somebody or exchange fluids because of this massive stuff with inoculation going on, and the mRNA, DNA, and your DNA is in everything that you are. It's in your hair, it's in your saliva, it's in your piss, for Christ's sake. It's in everything. Right? It's in everything. So you got to be super aware. So there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be hammered out and need to be hammered out in time. However, energy people like us, super gifted, talented people and holistic people and doctors who will be able in time, through time, will be working through this for the tools to heal this stuff, because everything physical in earth world is metaphysical in here. So I'm not telling you this to scare you, but you do need to be aware of these things in these times. And this is going to cause big separation in earth world, because they're in this vibration, right? I said to my kids, you can't just go out anymore and make out with somebody and kiss them and fuck around with them like we used to, or like I might have or used to when I was a kid. You can't do shit like that anymore because of what's going on. And people are fucking liars. They lie all the time. They don't do it on purpose a lot of times. They do it because there are conscious behaviors to protect themselves because they're afraid. What if you find out that I'm shotted? Or what if this, and then you won't be with me? It's creepy stuff, because the nature of darkness is lying comes from spaces of that which is fear. Okay, the God's honest truth sets you free of putting up some kind of persona of who you are. Just like when I do the show, you see me here in the show, and I talk, we have a great time, and people say, well, this is how Lynn is on the show. Well, I am who I am. I am this guy. Tomorrow I'm not going to not be this guy, but it doesn't mean that I'm not different with my family at home. I have a personal space of me as well, but it's all in alignment with who I am. I'm not going to change who I am out here. And as a general consciousness in Earth World, we show people the person we want people to see us as who we see ourselves or wish that we were. Do you see? So, this said, all these things we got to take into consideration with this new times, with this new world and what is happening, because we all got kids, just like the school system. I advise everybody, truly, but you have to make all your own choices. So I'm not telling you what to do here. I'm not telling anybody what to do. You make your own choices. Gifted, work with God, with your gifts. Gifted choices, right? With God and love. And you work with the universe to make the best choices for you in reference to all this. My job here is to tell you the God's honest truth so you can be aware of all these things. And then you can know what to do to detox, to work with all the medicines out here if you have gotten inoculated, because this isn't about ostracizing anybody. This is about helping everybody, whether you got inoculated or not, right? And different things that are coming into the future because of what has happened here. It's all part of the divisions and the problems and the issues. But as time evolves and God evolves, because God is the superpower of everything, the healing gifts like what we do here with energy work, with earth world tools, will be able to heal this COVID epidemic and this DNA, mRNA, and all this shit. When darkness thinks it has a handle on God, absolutely not. So these things are coming into the future, okay? But not before we're having these divisions and all of this crazy stuff. I mean, they'll be going hand in hand simultaneously. So it is already happening, right? All the work that I'm doing right now is making these things happen as part of that. Same thing with you guys. We're all part of that same energy. That's part of the positives, part of the unwellnesses, part of the changes, part of everything that's going on here in Earth world. All right, all these God connections. So with this said, all these things are parts and pieces and things that are coming and are things that we all need to be aware of. The same thing with the school system. Get your kids out of the school system. You're indoctrinating. There's nothing there that they're going to learn. Not anymore in this world. You want them to learn shit. You ask God how to do it. You ask God for the books. You ask God for the teachers. You ask God for the wisdom. You ask God for the gifts, the God's honest truth of all the tools that you need. Because it is not the school that makes you who you are. Anybody and everybody who knows about God or love or wisdom knows that at higher levels especially, knows that it is your soul that calls all the shots. Just like me. I didn't go to fucking school for this. Did I? Did I go to school for this, Rachel?
No.
No. This is something that I was born with. This is something that I acquired lifetimes from. Doesn't mean I didn't study with different tools, different teachers in different ways. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whatever my soul with God led me to, I did. So know this about your soul, who it is. And I do multiple things. I'm a business owner of a bunch of different businesses. You know, I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm a healer. I'm like your metaphysical alternative medicine doctor. I'm not like that. I am that, right? So I do energy work. I mean, I have so many. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm a public speaker, right? I'm an entertainer, right? I'm so many fucking amazing things because of God, because of my relationship with God, because my soul works with love. Your soul, even if you're not even consciously aware of it, and your children's soul will lead you to whatever their educational destiny will be and what they choose to be. And there's nothing you can do about it, whether they go to school or not. And Steve Jobs, Nikki Hopper, is one of my favorites. Why? Because he didn't go to fucking school. And look at what the fuck he did when he was here. Yeah. Even though there's a lot of people wrapped up in darkness, there's some incredible shit that people have done and can do. And they're great examples in a different way if you turn it to a God space, right? You can see how amazing the soul truly is. You don't have to have school like they tell you. You should never mortgage your house for a school for your kid. There's multiple different schools, multiple different ways, but I don't advise school anymore in these times. I advise education, guidance by wisdom in our souls. And the new world is going to bring new educational systems, new things for all of us. We are stepping into those spaces. So you're going to have private schooling, huge, metaphysical, all different kinds into the future. Because what your soul should be doing in schooling and learning is what your soul feels connected to. Part of the reason I didn't want to go to school and most of our kids don't want to go to school is because we're different. There's nothing in that environment that tweaks us, that excites us, that we're interested in. It's really hard to learn about fucking plastics and the dynamic of plastics if I don't give a fuck about that. But if I'm called to learning about animals or learning about the solar system or learning about science or learning about, being a medium or being an artist, I'm super cool and I love what I do. That's what the new world is. Your soul is going to lead you to all of that and everything that you love. That's why I do so many different things. And most of you people are like me. We do all different things. But this is all part of everything coming in the new world. In the new world. So there will be factions. America in the future will probably most likely break apart. All right. But this is a good thing because we're not going to be controlled by this government. Absolutely not. So they're going to fail massively because ultimately the people are not going to conform. And so this is coming. This is coming. When your kids can't eat and the shit hits the fan, and you know, right? Because we've lived it through lifetimes, whether you realize it or not. All right. We know, excuse me. Oh, my nose here. Having a moment. Oh, runny nose. Thank you, God, for clearing this out for me. All right. Number five again. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thanks God for freeing me from this now, please. Now I'm doing a number 5 cell salt for the stuff I have going on in my nose. Now the reason I'm having some more of these symptoms is because I've been working a lot in a toxic, moldy environment. So therefore, I'm going to start to have more of these kinds of symptoms in me. This is what universe is telling me. Okay, so as soon as I'm completely done with this, this will help to alleviate that. One of the best things to do is to stop that which it is that is making you sick, whether you're in a moldy environment or, whatever your illness is. Removing yourself from it in whatever way that is best from love is the best way to be well and to start that whole process, you see. All right, so this said, talking about school systems in the future, okay? School systems in the future are going to be about following your heart, being in your heart space, and all this stuff is coming, absolutely is coming, as well as medicine is making changes and will be moving into different places as well. Both metaphysical medicine, energy medicine, alternative medicine, and your traditional Earth World Western medicine, which I know has a particular name, which I can't, which is it, I can't think of it. Is it allopathic? I'm not sure, but either way, you know what I'm talking about. So all of this stuff is going to be transitioning and all of it's going to be changing. So this is all into the earth world. And so, but here's also what's going to happen during these times. There's going to be underlying things. You've all heard of like the black market where people get guns that are illegal and all that kind of shit, and all, like the black internet and crazy stuff like that. Well, you're going to have all different kinds of societal things, forming, because the people are still going to trade with money. They're still going to trade with gold. They're still going to trade with silver. And it's going to be a long time coming before they really would get to a conversion of digital currency that's going to work, because there's going to be so much rebellion. Because that's what happens when it doesn't work for the people. Where there's God, there's a way. So the people are going to figure it out. There's going to be people doing business on the side over here. Entrepreneurship. They're trying to destroy entrepreneurs because that's all part of all the freedom of God. And that's part of the grand plan of the new world. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you have a whole bunch of businesses, it's hard to stop what you do. But if you work for the man, right, it's a lot easier for them to control you, and you get a paycheck and you can't do this, and you work for this company and you can't do this. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have the sky's the limit creatively. You can do all different kinds of businesses. You can make all different kinds of monies. You can do all different kinds of trades, So make no mistake about it. This is coming. The new world is going to, and I've talked about this before, it's going to be about entrepreneurship, but people are going to trade. When you can't eat and they're telling you, you have to do this and you have to do crickets and synthetic meats, bullshit. You're going to have community. You're going to have trades. You're going to have all kinds of things going on underneath, behind the scenes, just like getting paid traditionally, where they used to talk about back in the day, where you'd have a real job and then you might have a job that they would say was under the table that nobody knew about. Those are the things they're trying to destroy. Under the table mean you didn't pay taxes on that money, right? It was a secret agreement. So there's going to be all kinds of secret agreements and secret ways that underneath the digital currency darkness society is going to be working out, because where there's God, there's a way from love. And people would say, well, that's not right, and you should follow bullshit. Bullshit, it isn't right. It is damn right. It is damn right. Where there is God, there's a way from love. As long as you're in alignment with love, it's not in the way any of us think. It's in the way that universe guides us that is best from love. And all of this is coming. All of it's coming for all of us in our greatest new world, new life. And this is all what's going to destroy the darkness, because it, as soon as people start going into these spaces, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to try to control and bring out outside military forces, and that there won't necessarily not be violence. Very much so. The states may separate and certain states may stick together, in different ways, but make no mistake about it. All of this is in the cards of that tree of all the energy that can and has a great propensity to manifest 53 to 57% overall right now in this moment. So this stuff is coming, but nothing happens overnight, but it is coming, it is happening, and they're doing all the laws, the secret laws and crap behind the scenes, the darkness as to make this happen. But you know what? You can never get one up on God. And so the more you're in your heart with like what we teach and what we do, the more God is going to show you the way. Just like when universe said to me, oh, you want to get stuff out of your house? You go under cover of darkness. This is what you do. And then universe brings me the rain and the storm and the snow, and And if I want nobody to see me, then that is designed to help me. So it's not in the way that people think. When I ask God, okay, God, I need to be this, and I want to be free of anybody being unwell around me. I want to be left alone. I want to be free of any toxic. And the universe sets up everything that happens, and I roll with it. I listen to my heart. I feel it, and God takes care of everything. The storm comes. The darkness happens. I get all the stuff out of my house. The neighbor doesn't know nothing about it, doesn't bother me. And by the time she realizes I'm moving shit out of my house and calls to cause me some kind of nasty bullshit darkness and stop me and be shitty to me, I'm already gone. I'm already gone because God's got my back. And I wasn't trying to harm her. I'm just trying to live my life. You see, and that's the key with this darkness. These people out here can't keep their fucking shit to themselves. They can't mind their own fucking business. And that's a big fucking problem in Saturn's Earth world and in the darkness, right? Mind your own fucking business, unless it is a toxic thing happening to you or somebody else, and you talk to God when to say, what to say, how to say, what not to say. You don't get involved in other people's shit. You don't. It's not your fucking business. That's how it rolls with universal law of all that is God and in Saturn's Earth world. And if you don't know how to do that, when to do that, what to do, you ask God if you should get involved. You ask God if you shouldn't. You ask God what to say. You ask love to speak through. You ask love to handle it. And you will do the right thing because this, God, love, universe, is the law of everything. And you will always have the upper hand. That's why, boom, I'm out. And then the actual fines and fees and bullshit goes to the landlord and the property manager. And what's so funny is she's one of their tenants with her house. And what goes around comes around, bitches. No shit. And I didn't do any of it. Universe took care of it. All I did was ask God for what was best for me from love. And this is why I say, ask for what is best for you first. Put you first from love. And God will work everything out. Always from love for you. And it works out for all. So if these people were in a healthy, loving space, in the healthiest, best way, an alignment with love, none of the nasty, toxic shit that they're doing would they be doing. Because they wouldn't. Because they'd be more in alignment with me. And I'd be like, hey, neighbor. And they'd be like, hey, how are you today? Do you need anything? And then we would be friends. Yeah. And we would help each other. But I'll be damned if I'm going to help somebody who's doing all this kind of nasty shit. And I don't even have to, I don't have to project. I don't have to think about it. I just have to ask God, hey, what's the truth about what's going on with this person? Or a lot of times they'll just tell me, the angels will just tell me when somebody's a toxic fucker who's trying to undermine my shit or isn't really my friend. And they'll tell me the darkness, right down to the nittiest, bittiest, shittiest thing in their soul. I know, but I don't always say it. Very rarely do I say all the shit that I know. Like you look at me on the show here, I'm saying 23 to 27% of what I really know. Scary shit, right? But not really. Not really. It's all about being in alignment with love and doing the right thing. Everything, all my gifts, you have. You have. Do you see? So the new world is going to be kind of entertaining. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but there is going to be challenges. And there may be times when things happen that are going to be rough, but that's why you have these tools. And anything that comes to your door that you are challenged with, remember, God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. Nothing that you can't handle. And anytime, that's why you go to God, you go to love, you go to universe, you talk with how to handle this, God, or handle this now for me. Then you don't even have to think about it. Speak through me for love. Let me be free of what's going on here. Let me free this in my soul. Let me be the best I can be, and universe will take care of everything for you in the healthiest, best way, always from love, because that's how it works. Okay, Rachel, how much time we got?
9 o'clock.
Oh, fuck, I knew I went over. So there was some interesting, cool stuff about these new times coming. I'll probably tell you more about the moving shit and moving stories into the future as time goes on and universe guides me, because pretty much it's a big fuck storm and everything in God's time, what to say, when to say, how to say, what not to say, right? Always for all of us, from love, to protect ourselves from love, to always be in alignment with the highest laws of all that is, because that trumps everything. So when somebody comes at me and they're nasty and they're toxic and they're out of alignment with love, I win all the time. And I don't even have to know about it. It's like I have these dark angels all around me and they literally protect the living fuck out of me. And they will go for them. And I don't even have to be privy or aware, but I am, because that's part of my gift, knowledge, wisdom, tools to share with you. And we all have these people and these angels, people meaning angels, energies of protection around us, as well as the power of God in our souls, which is all the power, Okay. All right. So, and it doesn't mean that I'm mean and shitty and send out energy. Like I said, universe takes care of it from love and takes care of all of us from love. Nobody's better than anybody. We bring to ourselves our own karma. So did the landlord. So did their property management group. So did that nasty neighbor, right? They bring all the shit that happened to them onto themselves by their nastiness. But what universe does is protect me because I'm in alignment with love. I'm not trying to harm them. If I was, then it wouldn't work out so lovely for me. Because that's the truth of how this shit works. All right, love you guys. We'll see you next week. I know we went over. If you can donate, please do. And see you next week, 7:15 every Wednesday, God willing, in these wild times, right? Thank you so much.